What up? What up? What up? What up? What it is? What it do? You know who it is. Who are you? Your boy is back with the fellas, and we here with the 22
He's
twos.
healed.
Welcome back,
Welcome
bro.
I'm
back.
back.
Welcome
I'm
back.
back off injury reserve. You
Welcome
know what I'm
back.
saying? Got in my 21 day practice window a couple days ago, and I'm
You
activated
you
to
was on a
the
10-day deal. You heard?
yeah, I'm activated to
10 day, 10
to the
day.
active roster.
And you see, and I
Here I
told him,
am.
and I said, if it's COVID, ask Slovid.
It
Oh,
rhymes, so it must
Yo,
work,
It works.
that commercial
It
can have me
works.
crying.
Yeah, we'll be
COVID,
back here
COVID
with the fellas,
2025.
man. We got a lot of
What a week.
things that happened.
What a weekend.
The guys talked about a lot last week. I wish I was a part of it. Really good content. And believe it or not, even more stuff happened. Like this week is full of topics, action packed. So with that, I'm gonna turn it over to the the host with the most, Mr.
Hey,
Yeah,
Mr.
boys.
Smooth himself.
Let's go.
Of course, another weekend with a bunch of highs and a bunch of lows. But let me just take a time out to just say the NFL very likely just has the best product in American professional sports. There's a limited amount of games. Every week
Yes,
matters so much to playoff contention. You work hard every week. You go 6 days. You play on Sunday or Monday or Thursday, and now it's Christmas. There's some Saturdays sprinkled in.
Oh
They're
no!
really
There's,
trying to.
there's a Black Friday.
There's a Black Friday. Like
There's a
they're
Black
literally
Friday
trying to
this
sprinkle
week.
it everywhere from England to Germany, doing the whole thing. But
Mexico.
between fantasy and gambling and just the week to week, just the trajectory of the sport, everything can change. The playoff picture changes literally on a weekly basis. So shout out to the NFL. We enjoy the product. Keep it moving.
Yes,
That
we
being
do.
said, we're going to kick off with another episode, a second and two, where we rapid fire through some of these games. There was a lot of them. Of course, we had the buys this week. Yo, my fantasy team, we actually didn't take a hit. We pulled out that. We ate that W.
Ate that
Yeah,
W.
we ate that W. So, the buys didn't affect me too much. But, Sean, I'm going to kick it to you to kick us off.
Hey, listen, we got the Rams holding off the Pats 28-22. Matt Stafford, 4 touchdowns. Stellar day for him. We love to see Matt Stafford play on this pod. We all know that we're all Matt Stafford fans here. Cooper Kupp, 2 touchdowns. Puka Nacua had 1 touchdown out of those. And let me say, making a bid for Defensive Rookie of the Year, Braden Fisk from Florida State. Special player. Him and Jared Verse, they've come on and they've been able to change this franchise in terms of how they play on both sides of the ball.
Hey, Jared
Very
Verse,
physical
shout out
football
you
team.
Albany product right there, man. Shout out. Jared.
Listen, that was one, and Donna, that was one of my post preseason picks to be able to make noise later in the year. So keep your eye on the Rams.
Shout out, man.
Listen, and the Broncos beat the shit out of the Falcons, 38-6. Bo Nix, big game, 28 of 33, 307 yards, 4 touchdowns, hitting 9 different receivers. Listen, Bo Nix making a bid for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Watch him. Saints beat the shit out of the Browns, 35-14, spoiling the bid of Jameis Winston's homecoming. Jerry Jeudy citing people.
Oh, my gosh. He
6%.
showed up.
This is
Where's
for
he,
you,
where's
Maneuvers.
he been? Where's he been? Where's
Hey,
he
listen
been?
up. This is for you, Mr. Maneuvers. 6 receptions, 142 yards, 1 touchdown. What you got to say? All right. But listen, the star of the show, Taysom Hill, 7 carries, 138 yards, and 3 of them things. 3 of them. So if you had him in fantasy, he was eating.
No,
Back
I
to
had
you,
him.
JB.
I had Alvin Kamara and FanDuel, and of course he gets 0 tutties because Taysom Hill just running it in every time. I just gotta keep losing these parlays by 1. I'm never gonna learn my lesson. But let's go. Keep it moving, Darnell.
He said the parlay. I'm sorry.
Parlays be hurting this year, bro. Terrible.
But yeah, you know what? I'm gonna start this one off. Hey, the Vikings. Shout out to Brian Flores and really doing a number with that Vikings defense. Because was it a few years ago? Honorable mention of Daniel Jones actually went up to Minnesota and torched that team. To see them turn around and what they've been doing, held the Titans to a low 13-point game. And Sam Darnold, as much as we've been talking about this guy as just being such a top draft pick, to come into that system with Kevin and coming to that system and really be solid and carry that team, you got to shout out to him on that one. Packers, Jordan Love, even though he's thrown an interception in I think 9 straight games, the Packers eked out the heartbreaker against the Chicago Bears at Lambeau Field. I actually have video, and I will try to upload it, of a friend of mine who is a Bears fan destroying his television after seeing that block kick.
No.
I'm trying to find the video. It was choppy. I'm going to try to get the video back. Because
That's so damn stupid, man.
Hey, you got to be honest.
Hey, and they're rich. They have more money.
Hey, the Lambeau.
Buy another one.
Listen, there's a reason why they call them that, just like with Ohio State and Michigan, that team up north. There's a reason they call them that. Just
buy another one, you rich mother.
And so even though like the Packers now, Jordan Love, and just getting back to it and being solid with this team, has shown some progress. He's had some setbacks, but that Packers team is playing really well right now and is in a bid to even, who knows, get the number one.
Darnell, really quick, Pat McAfee was on his show earlier this week that said it may have been an illegal block. Did you see that?
Hey, I didn't see that one. You missed me with that one. Like that kick. Can't do nothing about it now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say this, man. I want to really give a note of tip my hat to him. Geno Smith. Geno Smith has never beaten the 49ers. And for that was probably
another podcast favorite.
Another, you got to shout out, man. Former New York Giants quarterback, Geno Smith.
And Jets quarterback.
The West Virginia product. Gotta give it to the Seahawks. I think this was probably a coming of age game for them to really go into Santa Clara, finish that game off, quiet the crowd. And right now, the San Francisco 49ers sitting at the bottom of the NFC West.
And
that's not saying much. That's not saying much.
And Darnell, check this out,
there.
right? And Darnell, check this out. The name that white people shudder when they hear it called on a broadcast, Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Oh,
10 receptions, 110 yards. He is on a heater right now, right?
Yeah, he is.
Also big news. Three-way tie with 5 teams at 5-5. Niners, Seahawks, and Rams.
Yeah, for sure.
How about that?
Yeah,
unbelievable. Appreciate the Jackson Smith and Jigba shout out, and he's the reason I dropped Tyler Lockett from my fantasy roster today because it ain't happening. It ain't happening. Maneuvers, welcome back. Ain't no May soundbite though. Talk to me.
Well, speaking of fantasy, what a pleasant surprise on the waiver wire. Your boy picked up Jonnu Smith Sunday morning because they sat Kittle, and that man went off.
Was it three?
Over 100 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Put up a nice little 20-something for your boy on the fantasy this week. Tyreek Hill got loose for 1 touchdown, and Tua did not have a concussion. So it was a great win, and all in all.
Every time he takes off, man.
It was a great win, all in all.
That's messed up. Cold-blooded.
Minshew,
just the facts, man.
Minshew and the Raiders, man, they're just out there for participation trophy. Dolphins 34, Raiders 19. The Fins improve, if you want to call it, to 4-6, and the Raiders fall to 2-8.
Hey, they're in the running for Shador, right?
No. Well, yeah, they are. But you want to know something? Those Dolphins maneuvers.
What's up?
Those Dolphins maneuvers. They got a nice soft schedule going into these next couple of weeks. So
they're in the AFC. They got
least.
There's definitely another game for them to lose.
They only one.
Out there, okay, we know that for a fact. Anyway, what was it? This was week 11, new week. Same old Lions. Foot to ass to another challenger.
They're my favorite team.
They are.
Jared Goff.
Money every week, man.
Jared Goff took an early lunch in Amar Say Ra. Must be listening to his dad and drinking that Coca-Cola. because he's up to 8 weeks straight with a touchdown.
Yeah.
There's none for you,
What?
Kittle.
The Lions, 52. The Jags, 2 field goals.
Have we not seen Doug Peterson let go yet?
I don't know. He's treading real
He hanging
close.
on.
As long as Joe Shane and Daniel Jones are on the New York Giants roster, they kind of overshadow what's happening in Jacksonville. Anyway, Lions improved to 9-1, tied for the best record in the league now, and the Jags fall to 2-9.
Off the cuff
Hey.
question for you, gentlemen. Trevor Lawrence, worst record in the NFL right now with the Jaguars. Do they go and select a quarterback with that top pick, or do they go after Travis Hunter?
No.
Nah, they need some stability over there, man.
He had
Let's
too
not-
many flashes, man. He came back from a 28-point deficit, man.
And let's not
Yeah,
it seems like forever ago, but let's not forget, like this is I think this is the first full year under Peterson, is it? A year and a half ago, Urban Meyer was a coach, and he was in strip clubs or
it was
bars
it
or
was
whatever. 2 years ago. This is his second season of stuff.
Yeah.
And then a lot of changes. They thought they had something with Ridley, a receiver that didn't work out.
Who's
there's a lot of-
awesome.
Travis Etienne fumbling the ball every week. But listen, Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Geno Smith. Let's give it some time, fellas. Give it some time. But Thursday night football, Eagles held off the Commanders 26-18. Our savior, Saquon Barkley, doing things that he does. 146.
Our glorious King
Glorious
Saquon.
King Saquon. 146 on the ground, 2 tutties. But elephant in the room, Jaden Daniels is very likely still hurt from that rib injury. Only 18 yards rushing. Not like him. 191 through the air. 2 rushing touchdowns on the team, but not really much going on in the passing game. McLaurin only had 1 reception for 10 yards. So, it remains to be seen what happens there. They got a bye coming up in 3 weeks. Pretty sure they're looking forward to that. Their goal
Philly
is to get
defense
everyone
rolling
healthy.
out.
Yeah.
Philly defense rounding out.
Yeah, man. So we're going to see a couple of weeks. Commanders, I'm sure they're just trying to make the playoffs healthy, see what it is. And, Philly has something to say. Philly has something to say. I know the lines are up there, but listen, Jalen Hurts, you control your own destiny, man. You got to do what it do when the time comes. Moving on, and I'm not going to speak much about this because I'm the host and I could do what I want. Texans 34, Cowboys 10. I have nothing to say about the Cowboys. They stink. They have no run game. They barely have a passing game. Cooper Rush is the starting quarterback. We gotta watch.
Can't even laugh. He can't.
We gotta watch Tommy
And
DeVito versus
AT&T
Cooper Rush on
Stadium falling
Thanksgiving.
apart.
Yeah, AT&T
Glass
Stadium
falling
falling
from the
apart.
ceiling.
Sun blaring
The
in
sun
everybody's
coming through.
eyes. Jerry Jones doesn't want to put a curtain on it. That's enough. So, fellas,
Put a curtain.
To be honest, though, it is a nice stadium, though. I think it's.
Yeah, put a curtain up. Off of the 2nd and 2 though, and heading down into some 4 down territory. Boys, statement wins. We are waiting for these matchups this weekend. It's been a couple weeks in the making. The NFL does a great job of putting the hype videos together. Josh Allen takes down Patrick Mahomes. It is the regular season, though. It is the regular season. So in my humble opinion, the monkey's still on their back. They might still have to see them in the playoffs. And we know what happened the last couple of times they've seen them in the playoffs. But Amari Cooper had a field day. Josh Allen did his thing with the go-ahead touchdown. That team looks really good. There were a lot of question marks coming out of training camp and the draft last season. No Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis is gone. We thought it would be Dalton Kincaid and Keon Coleman, but they pulled off the trade for Amari Cooper. Khalil Shakir is making his mark, and Curtis Samuel is a nice slot option for them. James Cook coming in, going hard, doing his thing this year. On the other side of the AFC, the Steelers take down the Ravens. I think Lamar has now moved to 1-4 all time against the Steelers. They're saying he could beat everybody else, but Mike Tomlin just has his number. Russell Wilson didn't play particularly well, but that defense does what it does. Ravens tried to make it a game late with the touchdown to Zay Flowers, but of course that wasn't enough. Steelers, every year with Mike Tomlin, minimum 500, and they're way over that this season, contending for that division, trying to look for a bye if they possibly could in the playoffs, but we'll see what happens there. But boys, talk to me. who is the best team right now in the AFC. There's been a lot of talk about the Chiefs coming into this weekend undefeated, but people didn't really like how they were playing. Travis Kelce looked like he took another step back, another year on his belt. He's in his mid to late 30s. Sean, best team in the AFC right now, in your opinion?
I'm gonna have to go with the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah,
because they have the best quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Josh Allen is on a heater right now. He's playing excellent football. I like another thing you alluded to, the ability to run the football with James Cook, who's exhibited. Listen, he's not just a scat back. He has great contact balance. He was bouncing off guys during that game and getting additional yards. But their defense, Ebenezer, they got the pieces, bro. Taylor Rapp, Rousseau. You even had a Von Miller sighting over the weekend. You know what I'm saying? And Oliver. Listen, they're better than and they've gelled because teams were able to run the ball and get up and down, the field on them, without having to drop back to pass. But they've shored up that run defense. I like the way that they play on both sides of the ball, but especially Josh Allen's decision making. He's not forcing anything. Although he had a really bad interception, which kind of called me into question. We were talking about who has the better pocket presence in the NFL and not make them the least mistakes. And I said, you got to ixnay him out of here and put my man Joe Burrow on the top, which we'll talk about later. But conversely, I do like the Steelers. But Russell Wilson has kind of put himself in the realm of ultimate game manager. He's playing and making all the right plays for them not to lose. I see you shaking your head. But that's exactly what he's doing. He's not putting them in a position to lose football games. They're leading on the run, and they're making big play passes down the field with George Pickens and Tavon Austin and those guys. So, I mean, like I said, me picking, I definitely like the Bills, and that's who I'm riding with through the AFC Championship.
Maneuvers, which team's perceived weakness you think is the biggest threat to them dropping out of serious Super Bowl contention? I'll give you these 4 options. Steelers quarterback play, Bills wide receiving core, Ravens secondary, and Chiefs patched up run game.
I'm gonna have to go Ravens secondary. I think really what it boils down to at the end of the day, is which team is gonna do the most in order to win in all 3 phases of the game. I think those other options, I feel like those other phases can do enough, and I feel that it can get them over the hump. You think about it, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Steelers. We're talking defensively, like
really good.
And so it takes a little pressure off of the offense. Like those are teams that can go out and score 13 points because their defense can hold the other team to 10. Sometimes the Ravens get into situations where Lamar and Derek and Flowers have got to go out there and put up 3-4 scores in order for them to win the game. All that said, though, they're the best team out of the 4, and I'm not saying this because that's my other team is the best team out of the 4 is the Steelers. And the reason I picked them over the Bills is because what happened on Sunday with the Bills was lessons learned. 4th and 2, we're not kicking a field goal. We're gonna go and score a touchdown because a field goal is not gonna do it against these guys. They didn't give Patrick Mahomes a chance to beat them. And you can see what happens. It's happened to them in the past. Hell, it even happened on Sunday with the Jets when they kicked the field goal. A drive after they saw, the Colts go down and play and go down and field in 6 plays. The Steelers defense is gonna, whatever the offense gives them, the defense is not gonna give them more than that, pretty much. The Bills, they they beat the Chiefs, but let's be honest, they it took everything,
Yeah, kitchen
So
sink.
yeah,
So Darnell, you know I'm a betting man, and of course, betting on the favorite sometimes is always not in your favor. You got to look for the value. So, given that these four teams are the favorite, would you put your money on one of them coming out the AFC, or would you put your money on the field? And if the field, who?
Ain't no field, man. That field is dirty. It's brown. There's no field.
No grass.
Field is
There's
dirty
no
as
grass.
wild.
Okay, the one wild card part of the field that I do have, but I don't trust them, are the Chargers. But that's the one wild card. They do have statistically the best defense in the NFL. I don't know what happened to that defense on Sunday, but that's neither here nor there. As I said, like, you know what? I see the arguments, from maneuvers and from Clark Kent, but at my heart of hearts, I cannot go against the Chiefs. Even though they lost that game.
I'm never betting against Patrick Mahomes.
Even though they lost that game, and the Bills, number one, they had to be in Buffalo, number one. They tried to put James Brown through the table. He said he wasn't going to do it. So that probably he just messed everything up. But you can't go against the Chiefs. I mean, that game to me, with as much patchwork that they have, and we have to be honest, Patrick Mahomes right now is not playing the best football. He is making a lot of mistakes, but they are waiting for some health and all this things to get back. But the Bills right now gave them a run for their money, and the Steelers right now, how they sit, coming off of that fresh win against the Ravens, okay, you could probably put a knack for them. But even with the Chiefs and their 9-1 record, like one loss, the only people who celebrating was really the Dolphins, because everybody else knew they lost that game, but it wasn't like a blowout loss. That game was more for the Bills to see, hey, can we really compete with these guys on the stage and finish the job? But I don't know if that'll happen when it comes down to it in the playoffs. So I will still say the Chiefs. I'm not going to bet against them until they get knocked out. I'm not going to bet against the Chiefs.
I got a question then, right? So I hear what you're saying, and my question to the group is, what win was more impressive than the Bills over the Chiefs or the Steelers over the Ravens?
Steelers over the Ravens.
And I think that kind of answers the question right there.
I don't know. Right.
No, I think so, because I feel like the whole season, of course, you switch from Justin Fields, you go to Russell Wilson. It's still been a question. Like, yeah, Russell Wilson has had some nice throws, dropping in the pocket late in games for go-ahead touchdowns, like he did last week to Mike Williams. But, is it enough, right? Of course, they ain't got to pay anything. They're playing, $1 million for them? So it's essentially like they got some free quarterbacks on the roster. The defense is elite. Najee Harris has seemed to be picking it up, in the backfield lately, and they could split the carries with Jalen Warren. So neither of them are overworked. It seems like everything else is there between, Pickens and Williams on the outside, but can you get that good quarterback play? Granted, the Ravens secondary is horrible. They have the weakest defense in the league, right? So, you would figure the Steelers should be able to move the ball up and down the field, but at the same time, Ravens gonna put up points. You got to put up like 28 to beat them, and that's exactly what happened on Sunday. Okay. Bills, Chiefs, I was going to ask y'all this question, and it's just like, which out of those four teams feel the most comfortable in the playoffs? And it's absolutely the Chiefs. They've gone back to back. None of the other teams have done it yet, so they have the most pressure.
I kind of disagree. Because they go back to back, I think they're probably going to feel the least comfortable, because they know that they're going to get everybody's best shot.
Neutral field. You go Chiefs over Steelers. Neutral field.
I'm going Steelers, and I'll tell you why. And I will tell you why.
Yeah.
Here's why. And I think and now I'm getting the X and O's a little bit. I think they might have given a blueprint for how to defend that Ravens offense. They rushed Lamar with
leave
pure
Zay Flowers open and let him drop passes.
the pure
Yeah,
they rush
that
rush
too. That's a great. Yeah.
they rush Lamar with the pure goal of contain everyone, stay in your lane, don't get excited. We'll eventually get to him. If not, we got linebackers in the secondary to cover us. But they were not. A lot of times, what happens is people lose contain. They don't follow their assignment. They give up the outside. Lamar gets outside. He's able to make something happen, or he's able to rush up the middle. They stayed in their lane. I think that was really key to being able to stop that offense.
So Sean, take us out. Better win this weekend, Steelers or Bills?
It's the Bills. They beat the undefeated team that was washing everybody in the AFC and NFC combined. How can you guys say that they beat a team who in past weeks have blown leads, even with a run game to be able to lean on and can't get in the end zone? You guys are mind blowing right now. Like, it's the Kansas City Chiefs, and they turned over Patrick Mahomes twice. So, I mean, in recent weeks, that's not really saying too much because he has been giving away the football, but that's still not an easy thing to do. Yeah. And they were able to stop the run, which, again, was a challenge for the Bills, for them to be able to be put in that situation where their defense is gelling and they're playing the right kind of football at the right time of the year. So if you guys, and it's ironic that I'm talking bad about the Steelers, I'm wearing a Pittsburgh hat, but you do have to realize that the Pittsburgh Steelers still do have chinks in the armor. Let's not forget that they're sick in their secondary. I know you feel the way. I'll let you speak.
I ain't trying to get canceled.
I'll let you speak. No interruptions, right? So we're talking about this Pittsburgh Steelers who have chinks in the armor on the back end. Yeah, they can rush the passer and they're great at stopping the run. But put them in a situation where they're going up against a guy like a Joe Burrow who came this close to beating him. And that should lead us to the next conversation. But
I just gotta say the Chiefs ain't washing nobody. They have 2 wins.
Very close game.
2 wins this season that are greater than 1 score.
Whoa.
Well, listen, guys. I can't wait. I can't wait for a couple weeks when we're all wrong and the Houston Texans win the AFC and go to the Super Bowl. That being said, we just talked about him. Poor Joe Burrow. Bengals lose a heartbreaker again. I mean, kind of a heartbreaker. They were down 27-6 early. Justin Herbert and that Chargers offense was putting them things on a pause. But, of course, Joe Burrow, gunslinger that he is, comes right back. T. Higgins' first game back goes for over 100, had him involved, had Jamar Chase involved. That offense is so insane. Like, that offense is so insane. It's terrible that defense sucks. But what's the who's to blame there? Like, who's to blame? Can they even still make the playoffs? Sean, talk to me.
Let me tag in. Last 5 games, Joe Burrow. First of all, Joe Burrow is playing the best.
Pop the molly.
Joe Burrow is playing. Joe Burrow. Listen, bro. Joe Burrow is playing some of the best football, the best stretch of football we've seen all year long from the quarterback position. Listen to this. Last 5 games, passer rating of 103, 1,450 yards in 5 games, 15 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Okay? The man's escapability in the pocket. Now, he's not the most fleet of foot. He's not going to run away from a lot of guys, but if you look at him, both hands on the ball, evading rushers, ducking, getting into his position to throw the ball accurately down the field and always keeping his eyes down the field. Now, people will say weird shit like, oh, he has T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Those dudes for the first part of the year were hurt. Okay? You had Jamar Chase for the first 2 or 3 games of the year, who was not himself, who just started to turn it on in recent weeks. Then he just got back T. Higgins since last week. So for everybody saying that, zip it. This man is playing excellent football. There was a meme the other day I seen on X or Twitter or whatever Elon want to call it nowadays. But there was a point where Joe Burrow would step off the field, like the slightest foot step off the field, and it'd be like, the defense is on, and they would get cooked, bro. It's a classic example of him being a quarterback playing their best brand of football. He is the best quarterback in the NFL right now who is not winning games. Let's just put it like that. He is the best quarterback in the NFL right now, not winning games. Way
to caveat yourself at the end. Way to say
I mean, he best quarterback in the NFL, not winning games. I mean, that's easy to say. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, Bengals made their own hubris is what put them in this kind of position. Letting a safety like Jesse Bates walk. You see what he's doing in Atlanta, right?
With Joe Mixon.
Listen, letting key defensive assets walk from their football team and not rebuilding it, and letting Joe Mixon walk, like you just mentioned. Tyler Boyd, they could have missed Tyler Boyd because they got another young boy who's on the outside. His name escapes me right now, but he's
Yoshibas.
going to be special.
Yeah, I think he's from Harvard. I think he's from Harvard or Yale or something like that.
Listen, he's pretty good.
Ivy League.
Joe Burrow has a fan in me, bro. Huge fan.
Darnell, can they make the playoff? They're currently 4-7, and let's just assume 9 wins is gonna get you into a wild card spot. That means they need to finish 9-8. There's 6 games left, which means they need to go 5-1 just to finish above 500. Remaining 6 games on the schedule. They play the Steelers twice.
Ooh, we're doing this again.
They're at Dallas, at Tennessee, home against the Browns, and home against the Broncos.
I'm looking at two. That's probably 2 losses. So they're, so I don't know, man. Well, what?
No, they can't make it. They can't make it.
I said this. I think we did this like 4 weeks ago.
No. But we did it with the Dolphins. Did we? No, we did
it. We did it with these guys like 4 weeks ago.
Well, okay, so I don't.
Revisiting. That shit changed.
But they had a chance.
Nothing changed. They're still not gonna make the playoffs. Why?
Put money on it. Put some bread up.
But I think
put some bread on that.
I think everybody has said, tying to what Sean is saying, we're infatuated with that offense, and it is a dynamic offense. We have to admit that, but, this kind of goes back to what the ownership of the Bengals have done. And it said letting key players go, that championship window. Remember when they got there and they were like, oh, Joe Burrow, he's possibly got another chance, dude, that window closes very quickly. And if you're not willing to, I'm sorry, and if you're not willing to go into the luxury to pay the fines to actually keep players that you need, it's funny because didn't he say to Anderson the other day, you go out and get your own T. Higgins. I want my T. Higgins. You get your own. So it's like, what exactly do you want? Do you want Joe Burrow to go out? Sean, as I'm saying, phenomenal numbers, great numbers, but can he do that for the rest of the season? Because I'll be honest, that game was over at the half.
It should have not.
Nothing stopping thus far.
No, but that's what I'm saying. There comes a point in time you can't keep going. You can't go into that well.
Silly question, man.
So clearly Maneuvers doesn't want to answer the question because we did this a couple weeks ago, and he said they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Elaborate.
All right. So there's no elaboration. I said it a couple weeks back. I'm going to say it again. They're in the AFC North. They're going to lose. They're going to lose. It's inevitable. They might lose to the Browns. I said it a few weeks back. I'll say it again. They might lose to the Browns. You know why? They remind me of the Chargers 2-3 years ago, where it's like they should be winning, but they're not. They find ways to lose. So yeah, there's gonna be some changes. But I think something that you touched on, Darnell, is key to the whole conversation. And those numbers, as you said, Sean, is key to the whole conversation. Joe Burrow is phenomenal. He's lighting it up. And what that does to organization, to GMs, is I don't have a championship.
I don't get. Yeah, all right.
My window is the career of this guy. So
Yep.
I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to because
Yep.
I got this guy. When you got a franchise quarterback, a true franchise quarterback like Joe Burrow is, who is, yes, he's gonna continue to do what he's doing for the rest of the season. It's not gonna stop. Like, he can't be stopped. He's phenomenal. You got that guy. Sometimes if you don't have the right front office and the right ownership, a lot of dumb shit gets done around that guy
Yep.
just because they have that guy, you know. So they're not gonna make the playoffs. That's one answer. Yes, Joe Burrow will continue doing what he's doing. That's the other answer. And I don't even know why we're having this conversation. Like,
All right. Make it quick.
Conversely, that is the same point that you brought up is the same reason why they will go get him help in the offseason, and they will bolster that defense, and they will do what they need to do in order to make sure that football team is better. It's a small market organization. They don't have a lot of money to be able to spend. You know what I'm saying? But they also can do better in the draft and pick up guys in free agency because they can see what Joe Burrow can do if given the right composition of roster talent.
Who needs a running back?
What?
Joe
Small
Burrow's
market-
plus 7.5 points, man. Who needs it?
Small market teams.
Busting ass.
Small market teams don't do that. If you're not
Yeah.
the Los Angeles Rams, you're not gonna go out and get pieces to put around.
Get them picks.
Like they're not gonna do that. It's they got their guy. Their window is his career, and they're gonna hope to draft and guys come there in free agency. They got an amazing receiver.
For
Well, maneuvers.
receivers.
I appreciate your elaboration on the Bengals, and I'm coming right back to this. You need to answer for your Super Bowl pick. They fired their GM this week. Fired their head coach a couple weeks ago. And they stunk up the joint again.
Woody wanted to bench Aaron, bro. He wanted to bench him.
Another L in that column for the New York Jets, dropping another game to the Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson got his starting job back from Joe Flacco. Had that mean, get off me, running that go-ahead touchdown in there. Jets are cooked, boys. They are cooked. 40-plus-year-old quarterback with what seems to be a stacked offense outside of the QB position.
Wow.
Who is to blame for the firing of Joe Douglas? Maneuvers.
I think everyone wants to point a finger at the most obvious person, Aaron Rodgers. And it's not. It's not Aaron Rodgers.
Gotta hear this
It's so funny, like how personalities and mindsets and things of that nature impact how like things are done at the NFL level. Because if the Jets were the Giants, it would have been totally different.
They can't see it. That's what I'm saying. You can't see it.
Because you know what? Let me just get and get to the point. The point is, Woody Johnson didn't have the patience, pull the trigger too fast on Robert Saleh, and the season went downhill there because where the Jets are really suffering is defensively. This was a top 3 NFL defense a year ago, and they can't stop a runny nose. Like, it is embarrassing how bad their defense is.
Yeah,
I mean, can't stop the run.
What happened to Ulbrich? I thought Ulbrich.
He's now head coaching, so you've taken a defensive-minded head coach away. You've taken the defensive coordinator and promoted him to head coach. So the focus that was there on the defensive side of the ball is gone, and it is showing.
Yeah.
Like, so to me, like, yes, You can say Aaron. You can say all these things. Like, bro, we talked about it with the Steelers. Like, it doesn't matter what Russell Wilson scores. That defense is not going to let the other team score more. And that's what the Jets were hoping for with Aaron Rodgers. Like, that's what everyone thought was going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers wasn't lighting it up in Green Bay. He wasn't scoring 30 points a game every game. He was scoring 21 points. He was efficient, you know, and that's what he was.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that everybody here is gonna say, no, it's Aaron Rodgers' fault. I don't think it's his fault. I think it's the ownership's fault. You know, that, you know, they were a little bit hasty because you got an old quarterback. You added a bunch of pieces midstream. The guy was injured last year. Like, show a little bit of, I would have showed a little bit more patience with Robert Saleh. You know, I think that's really kind of where it really took a turn for the worse.
Darnell, they selecting a quarterback in the draft.
I want Sean to go.
Nah, we gotta get Darnell in there. Sean's waiting.
I put the floor to Sean. Let him get. Let me see.
Oh, you finished. Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. When was the last time Aaron Rodgers had a 300-yard passing game with the offensive weapons that this man has on his football team? Let's take a look. December of 2021. That's 3 years, dog. Okay?
Literally,
the other
just
thing
said
is,
he wasn't.
Let's talk about the players.
Let's
talk about, but he was supposed to be the savior. He was supposed to be the guy that, if they scored more than 17 points, he pushed his head coach, right? Beginning of the season, and said, "I don't want no hugs. I gave you more. I gave you more than that, right?"
Yeah.
Same guy that had a problem with Mike Williams running routes the way that he preferred to have him run routes. Goes the very next week and scores a touchdown after being able to. Did the stream freeze?
Nah,
it did.
That's
you guys hear me?
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Perfectly fine.
Walmart University didn't let you down today.
Yeah,
they let it. Listen. The Walmart. I ain't gonna call out who my internet provider is, but I pay a lot of money a month to have this internet running, and this shit is unacceptable. But anyway, listen. The Jets also, the players are also to blame too, because at the end of the day, you have Pro Bowl talent. You got Sauce Gardner out here missing tackles. You got Quentin Williams disappearing for stretches and for games at a time. The only player that looks like he's showing up to play is his brother. You know what I'm saying? So it's a culmination of a couple of things. It's Bryce Huff not being signed in the offseason for a Hassan Reddick, who you're going to turn around and haggle for his contract. Woody Johnson is the common denominator as well. He vetoed the Jerry Jeudy trade. You might roll your eyes at Jerry Jeudy, but if you pair him with a Garrett Wilson, that's a great tag team combination of young receivers that can develop for years to come. So again, you know, even them going after Tyron Smith, that inflated contract when Dallas jettisoned him, he wasn't the same player that he was in his all-pro years. The culmination of poor asset management, everything had to do with Woody Johnson, because the way that this team was constructed by the GM, listen, he built a roster full of golden assets, bro. You look at all the players that he was able to put together on this roster. The Sauce Gardner, who went all pro, like I said, Quentin Williams, Garrett Wilson. These are guys that are homegrown talent. He drafted these dudes. Yeah. So Joe Douglas is not a terrible GM. He will bounce back again. But as long as Woody Johnson is the owner of this football franchise, they will forever be in purgatory. And there's a lot of Jet fans that feel the same way that I explain.
What the hell was all of that you were doing, man? If you were gonna say exactly what I said.
because you're nuts. You the one that picked the Jets.
I did.
You picked the Jets. Now you gotta listen to the same thing that you just admitted from me that I've been saying over the past, I don't know, beginning of the season.
Yeah, but you're
Enjoy.
right. But so all of that said, I picked the Jets. I can't pick them again next year because you know why? Like everything that's happened, like what's the direction now? Like they did all of that, and like what's the direction now? Like it's I am
There is
thankful.
none.
I am thankful for one thing. They went from preseason, hey, Super Bowl contenders to at least they're making the Giants look a little better in the New York market. You know?
And with that being said, Darnell, we're gonna move on from one trash New York team to another one because according to the reports this morning, your boy Daniel Jones moved to QB 4. Four. Do teams even carry 4 quarterbacks? Giants have moved on from Daniel Jones, benching him in lieu of Tommy DeVito, Tommy Cutlets. We're going to see what the Italian Stallion has in store for this football team. We'll see what he can do to close out this season. But, man, Daniel Jones, 24, 44, and 1 in 6 seasons.
Yeah.
Did the Giants make a mistake paying him and essentially starting him again this season after injury? Or was he just never that guy?
Yes.
You know, like, I think,
yes.
Yeah, you just yes. You know what I'm saying? Like as he said, it's like the common denominator here is yes. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it. It's yes.
Yes.
Like, and you know what? I gotta, and I hate. I don't want to bash on the guy anymore because I said he's buried on the bottom of the roster. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's tough because I said, like, right now as a franchise, the Giants have to start really, really looking around because they don't want to be compared to the Jets. That's a scary, scary place to be in. You know what I mean?
Never
No. You got to understand, man, the outside market, a lot of the parts of the country. What?
We're neck and neck with the Jets right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like the Giants have to no, Sean, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yo, you got the Giant fan goggles on. That's what.
Yeah, the national look of this franchise is not something that's a proud franchise that you want to like people talk about. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's something to be said for being a blue blood quote unquote franchise from 1925 and now being compared to a team that their most notable players, Joe Namath. You know what I'm saying? And that's Jets culture, Joe Namath. So right now I said like the Giants have to really go back to the drawing board. And I think, you know, like, hey, they were trying to get away from paying Daniel Jones that money. And I think right now the ownership is really looking tough, you know, at all of these decisions that they made. But you can't hindsight of 2020. You can't go back and start rehashing and saying woulda, coulda, shoulda, woulda. You got to look and say, hey, what can we pivot and do to transform and to change the trajectory of what this franchise is? You know,
go get Shadur.
Yeah, because I mean, Shadur, that's how he called it, right? Shadur. Like right now, and it said, you know, like they have some good pieces. That defensive line, they got some solid piece on the defensive line. You know what I mean? I really like the fact that, you know, they found like a diamond in the rough with Tyrone Tracy. You know, I'm not gonna compare him to my guy down on I-95, but right now you just have to say, look, as a franchise, how can we pivot? How can we change? And that right there, to me, that was them saying like, Daniel Jones, you know what? We just want you away. Like, I think they're trying to get away from that stigma of like any bad, like that they don't want him to be seen on TV. They don't want him to be seen on press conferences. Don't go talk to Kay Adams. Don't go talk to nobody. You just stay at the bottom of the whatever depth chart we have, and that's what they're doing with him right now.
All right, maneuver before you go. Outside of drafting a quarterback, which we all want them to do, give me one move the Giants need to make this offseason that immediately makes them better next season.
Saquon.
One
Yes.
move. Sign Aaron Rodgers. Listen, Donna. You can pivot all you want. I'm gonna go backwards. I'm gonna talk about what the real is. The Eagles played on Thursday night, and the beautiful thing about Thursday night football is they have that post game stuff with all the fans in Philadelphia were chanting, "Thank you, Giants."
That hurt. That hurt Mara a lot. Mara was hurt.
Listen,
Mara sick.
That's the reason he might fire him.
Yeah. Listen. There is not one move that we can make.
Yeah.
Because of the two moves that we made wrong a couple years ago. We tagged the wrong guy and signed the wrong guy. Should have flip-flopped it. Don't shake your head, yes, because you were the main one saying that that's what they should have done.
You need to get offensive linemen. You got to change up. You got to protect
But here's the thing. Like, you ever been to a party and you see somebody like half dancing? Like, half dancers are the worst. Like, either you're dancing or you're standing on the wall. The Giants are half dancers, and that's why this organization right now is gonna be where they are for the foreseeable future. Like, for all the things that are wrong about them, the Raiders said, "Yo, Carr, go home. We don't want you here. We're not gonna pay you. Don't be around. Don't risk getting hurt lifting weights in the team
flipping on an ice cube
or anything like that. Go home."
Yeah.
The Giants, they don't even have what it takes to say, "Yo, Daniel Jones, you were an epic failure."
Yeah.
This number 6 overall pick. We we made the choice to pick up options and pay money and all that stuff, and you did nothing. We're just gonna move you to 4. Okay? And you can still be around. We can still be in the quarterback room because you add value how? And on top of that, the team is only about it. That's why they wanted to do Hard Knocks. How do you go all year? Drew Lock has been number 2. He's now back up to Tommy DeVito. They just want ticket sales. They just want the media because of Tommy Cutler.
It's business.
They're not trying to do anything on the football field.
How do we? The Giants have won championships 4 different decades. We got 5 more years.
Hello.
Can we get it done before 2030?
I don't think so. not with the trajectory of the I have to be honest, not with the trajectory of where the franchise is, but let me remind you never see newly founded minted Giants fans, right? What did 2012, 2008, 1991, and 1987 have in common? Like just Mr. Too Smooth just mentioned.
They weren't a good team.
We have felt the warmth. We have felt the warmth of championship confetti on our skin over the last 4 decades, and we've all been alive all those 4 decades. Okay, we've seen it, we've enjoyed it, right? We can go through some pain because guess what? They have franchises like the Detroit Lions who are just not getting their shit together, and they haven't even won anything. And look at how elated they are.
Niners, okay? Cowboys.
So
They signed their running back.
The Dallas
Right.
Cowboys, 1994. Now, that's not to exonerate the roster moves that have been made by the New York Giants, because they've been terrible. And in hindsight, I can say that they've been terrible, because I wanted to believe that our quarterback was going to be the guy. The problem with that is David Cutcliffe, right? David Cutcliffe is what gave confidence to Dave Gettleman to go and reach all the way up and draft him at number 6. Is that Daniel Jones's fault that he got picked at number 6? That young man came in this building and worked his ass off. Is he the guy? Is he the player that needed to be able to raise this franchise from the doldrums? No. But again, can you blame him? He showed flashes of brilliance in that Vikings game where he played great. We was all singing his praises, right? And then that game earned him a contract. They offered Saquon Barkley $13 million during the bye week. He said, "No, thank you. I need more." And because of that, Daniel Jones, there was a whole bidding war. The Giants were bidding against themselves. Wasn't nobody going to give Daniel Jones $40 million. And guess what we did? We gave him the money. Right? Now you're in a situation where you're eating crow, because honestly, Saquon Barkley walking from the Giants was a blessing in disguise, because now it puts a glaring spotlight on top of Daniel Jones for those like myself who didn't know that he's ass. And now you have a situation where you're putting Tommy DeVito at the starting quarterback position, like you alluded to, Maneuvers, to be able to assist with ticket sales, to put the Giants in a position where they can put asses to seats. Now you got the players pissed off because they're saying, hey, you're giving up on the season because you're not even putting in Drew Lock, much less making Daniel Jones the backup quarterback if something happens to Tommy DeVito. So I say all that to say, do we keep the GM? Do we keep the GM?
No.
That's the question. Do we keep the GM? Do we keep the head coach? I personally love the head coach, because the head coach is coaching his ass off, and you can see it week to week to week. You might see a couple plays here and there. It's because of execution, it being the problem with personnel. But he is calling an excellent game plan every single week, and that goes to show in that flea flicker nonsense that Daniel Jones refused to pull the trigger on. That was a touchdown. You know what I'm saying? So how many plays have we seen effectiveness because guys are not doing their job? The 2-point conversion that you guys were talking shit about, right? Had guys done their job, they were outnumbered, outmatched on the flank on the outside. You had 3 offensive linemen. You had Malik Neighbors in front of 2 defenders. They shot the gap. Nobody was paying attention. The play looks terrible. So I like Brian Daboll. I do not like Joe Shane because he has missed more than he's hit the mark. He's missed on Evan Neal. That's what I just said.
No, you said he missed more than he hit the mark.
Malik Neighbors.
Malik Neighbors was a given. Andrew Phillips is a very nice player. Tyler Newman's a really good player.
Yes,
but guys that needed to be cornerstones.
This draft class.
And I'll make it. Listen, if Tyrone Tracy, and I'll make it short, right? Tyrone, the 2 cornerstone pieces for this franchise have not been able to yield the results that we've been looking for. 2 first-round picks back in the 2022 draft in Kayvon Thibodeau and Evan Neal. And Kayvon Thibodeau, one really good season, and that's middling success because, again, he had spurts and games where he didn't have effort and show that he can have consistent play. And Evan Neal, who can't block, he's a goddamn turnstile. And he doesn't want to go to guard. So what do? Put him on the bench, sign Illuminor, and put him on the right side. So the Giants need to move on from Shane. It's going to be kind of difficult to move away from a GM and keep the coach. But I think that Shane needs to go, and you need to be able to put. I would look at Joe Douglas.
No.
I gotta say this.
And Maneuvers take us out with closing thoughts.
Everything that you just said, kind of makes sense. I definitely think we need to move on from Shane. The Dayball piece, it's 50-50 because, there are glimpses, but I also feel like, as you're talking, I was like, we need to move on from him too. Because you want to know why? The things that did go wrong, the miscues, the the lack of effort, all these things. That kind of come back to coaching for me. And like, I mean, if you can't coach the guys up, like when it's bad, when you don't have the talent and you don't have the drive, then like I don't want you're not gonna get the most out of it when we got the guys that are gonna take us to the mountaintop, because you're not gonna be able to coach them the way that they should be coached. Like, and I hate to compare him to a Mike Tomlin, but Mike Tomlin has not had a losing season in his first how many years as a head coach, because he coaches. His team is always well coached, so that's why Shane's got to go. And now I'm gonna say it here. I think Daboll's got to go, because for all the good that he's done, there's a lot of bad that comes along with it too. Like you said, Shane has missed more than he's hit. Like Daboll has missed and hit equally, in my opinion. So I think we move on from both. Scrap it all, full rebuild.
We just finished week 11, and it's already draft season for us boys in New York. Let's go Giants to see what they could do in the draft. Fellas, it's another episode of 2nd and 2, 4-down territory. Y'all know what to do. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, comment, DM us. Yo, hit us up on Blue Sky. We on there. Hit us up, hit that follow button.
Hit us on 4chan.
TikTok. Everywhere. You heard? Peace.
Peace.